we definitely, I think there's a sense in the room, there's a sense of all of the partners that these goals are clearly within reach. A few areas that I just wanted to mention where I know there were lots of discussion on during the course of the week. You know, we started the week with Dr. Kirk Smith talking about the global burden of disease. And there was certainly, you know, shocking news that we all received just a few months ago for our sector. It's now the baseline by which we really think through new research opportunities and think about pilot programs to combat mortality that has literally doubled before our eyes. To move forward with the critical research in this area, our Alliance Research Advisory Group met several times this week. In fact, we had it scheduled just for once, but the group was so revved up that they had met a couple more times, including one at 6 a.m., I understand. So a very committed group of individuals. But, you know, and really moving forward to clearly stipulate the areas of research that we need to engage in to address some of the gaps that still exist in the sector. We also built upon the unprecedented framework for tiered standards for key indicators that came out of the last forum, known as the Lima Consensus, and the subsequent international workshop agreement reached last year to develop a tiered set of exposure, efficiency, and safety standards for clean cook stoves. And this week, that standards community met again a couple of times to address several of those IWA resolutions and identified very specific next steps to move things forward. We also saw attendance by the members of the carbon and investment community, the latter new to our sector, who very clearly shared with us both their interests in the sector, but I think also very practically speaking shared what it would take for the sector and enterprises within the sector to qualify for some of the outside investment going forward. So again, just to underline here, for us this year it was bringing investors so that they could learn as well and become more familiar with the issues in our sector, and for us to understand clearly what they look for so that we can hope to move together to drive investment into the sector in the coming years. I know many of you have also come together as regional and national alliances, if you will, to fortify your efforts. In particular, this week, I think there were tremendous gains made by the Latin American community as they felt a renewed sense of camaraderie and coordination. And the Alliance looks forward to helping foster that and working with each of them individually as well as together as a group. In fact, the Latin America team and the Global Alliance have come up with a consensus document, if you will, for areas in which the Alliance and its partners will engage in Latin America, and those will be shared in the form of an action plan late this year or very early next year. Of course, not everything that happened this week stayed within the confines of the Phnom Penh Hotel. It was refreshing to get outside yesterday and into the field. In fact, I think we added several additional buses to some of the field trips because of interest in seeing more than one trip, to see some of the projects here up close, and to come together to demonstrate some of your newest stoves and fuels at the demonstration event last night. I understood there were 35 different stoves that were out there and being tested and viewed yesterday. On that theme of outside activity, international and local media coverage of the forum has been quite significant, including radio, print, and TV, internationally as well as domestically. And right here, you know, there's still over 95% of the Khmer people who are reliant on solid fuels for their daily cooking. We also witness examples of how that awareness raising will continue worldwide. You met Chef Jose Andres at his finest, I think. His passion, his expertise, his framing of the Cookstoves issue within culinary development and entrepreneurial interests. But you also heard the opportunity to hear from three extremely talented chefs on their personal stories of why they're committed to the sector and how they're going to help advocate and take our message across the world of food and cooking. Kofi Annan, Mary Robinson, Her Excellency Dr. Inkatha Pavi were all some of the world leaders who have really committed or recommitted their support to the issue, so from the UN level to on-the-ground implementation. Each reiterated their beliefs to access clean cook stoves and fuels as a basic human right and a compelling environmental necessity. Some of you also had the opportunity to watch the short Alliance film called Black Inside that tells the stories of three women across 3 different continents. We have DVDs of those in different formats, so those of you who haven't received them already, I think they're going to be available here at the registration desk as well. So to wrap things up, I just wanted to take a moment to say that it is really your innovative ideas, entrepreneurial spirit, and abilities to couple that technical as well as human aspect of Cookstoves that made this a great week. We collectively are the Global Alliance for Clean Cookstoves, all of our partners as well as the Secretariat team. We generate strength from one another, and we are more effective together than the sum of our individual parts. So please give yourselves a huge round of applause for a terrific week. I would also like to take a moment to thank many of the people who are really instrumental in executing this forum. We couldn't have done this at all without the support of a really tremendous Windrock International team. So Katie, Alyssa, Michael, thank you very much. Thank you as well to our in-country JERIS Cambodia team. They were delightful to work with and really helped us in the design stages as well as carrying through this week. And we would also like to thank the wonderful staff of the Phnom Penh Hotel. In fact, I'd like to call Lakina up to the stage, please, as she was the one who was really instrumental in supporting us. It's a very small memento from us to say thank you very much for all your efforts. Yes. I would also like to take just a couple moments to recognize the Alliance Secretariat team. We are a small team of just a dozen folks, and I'd like the team members to please stand up. Lastly, our sponsors literally made all of this possible. To each of them, they continue to play a shaping, catalyzing role in the sector, and the Alliance is grateful to them. On Tuesday morning, I told you that the sector was past the tipping point, that in fact we had tipped. I think that's even truer just 4 days later. I hope that each of you can harness the enthusiasm that was generated this week and move your commendable efforts forward, knowing that the entire team at the Alliance is here to champion you, support you, guide you, and without doubt, learn from you. So thank you, everyone, and safe travels.